Alright, hey, Omega here, and as you can see, I'm wearing pretty much all my motorcycle racing gear on me right now, alright? So, what I got going on today, or tonight, is we're going to go set the rear sag on my Swingarm Light B with the KO Moto Swingarm, alright? So the reason is, since I extended the swing arm, we've got a little bit more travel, alright? So in the previous video, we found out what the max travel, alright, or what the whole travel is of the suspension, alright, and it changed from like 8 1/4 to 8.86 inches, alright. So we gained about 0.61 inches. That's what we learned in the last video, alright. Because our swing arm is longer, alright. So we got a little more travel. Woohoo! Alright, so okay, and so I've got all my gear on, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna set my rider sag, okay. And we also weighed this bike. This bike is about, with the swing arm, it was like 143. Yeah, somewhere around there, 143. And so I weigh about 180, 190 pounds, somewhere around, probably more than 190 right now. Actually, let me go get the scale and we'll find out. Okay, I can find that out. I have a scale right here. Okay. And I'm just going to read it to you. Okay. The scale says I'm 212, 212.6. Okay, with my spacesuit on, okay? Alright, this is what I would typically wear in a supermoto race, guys, alright? So, Hades Mega is trying to start wearing a dirt bike gear, alright, like a Under Armour and all that stuff, but we're gonna do it with the leathers on, okay? So 212, and I normally weigh like a 190-ish, so I gained about 20 pounds. I'm wearing about 20 pounds of gear, guys, so alright, and that's with the boots, my leathers, one glove. I'm just gonna keep one glove off because you know, because I gotta operate the phone, alright. So how we're going to do that is we're going to use the Moto Slacker V4, alright, like we did in the previous video, and this time it'll work properly, okay? So I did take the bike for a ride today, alright, not with this gear on. It would be kind of obvious we were riding a race bike around if I was wearing this, right? But anyway, yeah, I took the bike for a ride today and it seemed okay, alright, but we're gonna double check, alright? We're pretty much almost out of preload also, by the way. Okay, so this is what I calculated, alright, for the travel, alright. The travel is, we're going to do this in millimeters, okay, guys? Because that's what the Moto Slacker, the Slacker V4 runs on, at millimeters, okay? It's a more precise measurement anyways, okay? So, we have 225 millimeters of travel, alright? And I will put on a subtitle below all the math and everything, okay, that I did for this, alright? But at 20% sag, we need 45 millimeters of sag, okay? At 25% sag, we need 56 1/4 millimeters. Let's call that 56, okay? That's 25%. At 30% sag, we need 67.5 millimeters of sag, okay? Hades Omega is going to tune it for 25% sag, alright? Between 20 and 30, alright? Anywhere around there is okay. I feel I kind of want it a little higher in the stroke, okay? It's up to you, alright? It's rider preference. In a way, it's rider preference also. But a lot of generally you want it about 1/3 of the stroke, alright? And that's about 30%, alright? But we're going to go 25% just in case I'm wearing extra stuff. I don't know, man. Alright? Okay, so I'm just going to kind of read off what's going on, alright? And then I'll let you guys know. Okay, I'm going to turn the Slacker V4 on. Alright, it's zeroed right now. I'm going to pair it with my phone. Alright, remember we're going for 25%, which is 56 millimeters, alright? Let's get the Slacker software on. Okay, they're paired up now. Alright, so now it's at 0. It's important that when we set the sag that we start with the bike with the bike off its wheels. All right, and then now we get on it, and yeah, I waited till it was very dark. I waited till late night to do this because it's colder at night. Because I usually, when I do this, I'm sweating my balls off wearing the gear, trying to get on and off the bike. Okay, all right, here we go. So all I gotta do is drop the bike. Okay, static sag is 18 millimeters, guys. 18 millimeters. That's what it says on the slacker. All right. Okay, and then I'm gonna go sit on the bike. Probably sit towards the front. All right, you would sit on the bike how you normally would sit when you're riding. Okay, and I will usually probably it's in the middle. All right, and then I'm gonna bounce the suspension up and down a couple times. Okay, and then I'm going to try to play this balancing act game. All right. All right, and we've got 96 millimeters. 96. Okay, guys? 96 millimeters, guys. Okay, I put a picture of it right there. All right, so what were we going for again? 56 millimeters. We're looking at 56 millimeters. So we've got too much sag, all right? So now what we got to do is I need to increase the preload on the shock, all right? So we can get it lower than that, all right? Okay, so the next step is we're going to put it back on the stand. Okay, I put it back on the stand, and so now I'm going to go, what I'm going to do is increase the preload on the collar, all right? We're going to move the collar downward to give us less sag, all right? So we were at 96, right? So we're trying to shoot for 56, so we need about 50, 40, somewhere around there, millimeters less sag, all right? So we gotta increase the preload, all right? All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna take this freaking helmet and gloves off so I can do that. All right. Okay, haha, so I got it going on here, guys. So we need to tighten this, all right? So we're gonna loosen the top collar, probably move it, let's move it halfway up there. You can see we're already past where we were before. I marked it with a silver pen. So we need like a lot more sag, a lot less sag. All right, hopefully we don't top it up, mess it up. I mean, max it out. Okay, and I hope I can do this. Okay, I'm just gonna turn it a couple times. Hopefully I can get these tools in there. Which way are we going? Yeah, we're going this way. Yeah. Sometimes you can just spin the spring. Oh, this is gonna be hard because it's tight already, man. Okay. So it's this game of adjusting the collar, getting it to where we want the sag to be. Alright, and like I mentioned, it seemed to handle fine to me, so but it can handle better if we set the sag properly. So as you can see, having the longer swing arm, it affects the spring rate, all right? Because you've got a lot more leverage forces acting on the spring now, all right? You got a longer lever arm, so actually kind of reduces your spring rate. You need a stiffer spring now, but maybe we can get away with it. It's not like we extended it a whole lot, so I'm not It's actually easier to adjust the lower it is, so we're kind of running out of adjustment. Okay, so we can just leave it like that. Alright, Hazemega is going to check again, alright? Okay, here we go. Round 2. I don't know how much I turned it. I must have turned it like at least 2 full turns. Alright. Okay, static sag is at 12 millimeters. think that's more than before. I hope I adjusted it the right way. Oh, it didn't move at all, guys. It's like the same amount, man. I'm going to bounce up and down on it a little bit. Okay, I'm getting 92. 92. That's a little less. We need to go a lot more than that. Alright guys, you got the picture? So it went from 96 to 92. I turned that collar maybe like twice. And we need a lot more, alright? If I turn it all the way and it doesn't move anymore, we're kind of screwed. We need to get a stiffer spring. Okay? But if I can make it to at least 30% sag, I think it'll be fine. But if it's maxed out and it's at 30% sag, it's a good idea to get a stiffer spring. Okay, guys? So yeah. All right. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right. You guys kind of saw it. I did it. I checked it twice already. All right, and I adjusted it once. And it's just kind of this game that we gotta play. Keep on adjusting it until we get it to where we want it. Okay? And that's pretty much it. So yeah. So the tedious part begins now. Just to keep on adjusting it. All right. When I get it right, I'll show it to you guys. All right. All right, guys. So bad news. The collar is maxed out. Okay. So what that means is we need a stiffer spring. All right. So before it was fine with that spring, but with the longer swing arm, it's not. All right. So we need to get a slightly stiffer spring. All right. We're at the end. Yeah, we need to get a much more stiffer spring. Okay. Yeah. So the number that I got was 80 millimeters. All right. So my rider sag is 80 millimeters. That's a sag with all my gear on. All right. Me sitting on the bike. And let me see. What were our numbers again? Oh yeah, okay. So for 30% is 67.5. All right. 30% is 67.5, and we're at 80. All right. So we're kind of close, but we're like off like 13 millimeters, guys. If we can get to that 30%, I would have said, hey, that's fine. All right. So we're gonna need to get a stiffer spring. All right. But for now, we're just gonna have to roll with this. All right. I think my plan is I'm gonna get this shock rebuilt. I'm gonna send it back to Vonkat, and I'm gonna have them replace the bump stop. All right, the bump stop is cracking. It's only a matter of time before it totally cracks, and then it won't. It's not. There won't be a bump stop at all. All right. So I'm gonna have them repair the shock. I mean, replace the bump stop, service the shock, and then maybe I'll have them put a stiffer spring on it too. Okay. So yeah. So that's a scoop. All right. So all right, guys. So that's the results of my sag. All right. So just take note, all right. If you get a longer swing arm, you're gonna need a stiffer springs, all right. So I'm probably gonna have to. That's a good question. We're probably gonna have to check the sag on the front again, all right. But it shouldn't affect the rear sag. It shouldn't affect the front sag so much, all right. Now I have an air fork, so that's easy, man. All you gotta do is put more air in the fork if you need less sag, all right. This one, if you run out of adjustment, then you're gonna have to get another spring, all right, and that's what I think what we're gonna have to do. Okay, so that's a scoop. All right, guys, we're at 80 millimeters sag. It's still off by about 10 millimeters. Is that okay? It's not optimal, is what I'm gonna say, but for now we can roll with that, all right. But I think as soon as possible, I'm gonna try to send this to Vonkat and have them service it, hopefully. Okay, so that's a scoop. I will probably make another video when I get a new spring, and then we'll do this over again. All right, but that's the results of my vlog. All right, so I'm a little disappointed that I have to get a new spring. so add that spring to the cost of the swing arm. All right, so I got to throw another like $100 at the bike to get it to where we want it. All right, so it's going to be like $200 because I have to get the fork. I have to get the shock serviced also. So yeah, more downtime. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope this was educational and entertaining. All right. that's we checked the sag after I installed the swing arm, and we got too much sag, all right, and we cannot compensate for it, and we need to get a stiffer spring. All right, that's the deal. All right, thanks for watching. Hayes Mig out. All right, okay. Here's something funny, guys. I took all my gear off. All right, I'm just wearing the underwear right now, and I was at 67 millimeters. That's 30% sag right there. All right, so if Hades Omega was to race without his gear on, it would be perfect. All right, or if I could somehow miraculously lose like 20 pounds, then we'd be fine. All right, but unfortunately, no. Okay, so. Yeah, and plus we would be at like the max. We would be at the maximum adjustment, and you kind of don't want to be at the maximum adjustment. You want to be like in the middle somewhere, okay? Yeah, you don't want to max out those adjusts. So I think the best thing to do would be to get a stiffer spring. So that's a bummer. All right, Hayes Mega. All right, Hayes Mega is trying to not. Hayes Meg is trying to not buy a spring because it costs a lot. These springs cost a lot of money, man. And I got these just lying around, all right? So this is the shock that Vonkat gave me for. This is the shock Vonkat gave me for the prototype shock. All right, it's supposed to be a stiffer spring, and I tried it the other day, and I was just gonna install it, but it didn't fit. Okay, for some reason it's tapered. All right, the spring is tapered and it doesn't fit. All right. Now this is not tapered. This matches the end that actually fit in the shock. See, notice how this fits perfectly, and then this is too small. Yeah, this side is too small. It's hard to tell, but yeah, it's smaller. One side is smaller than the other. I don't know why, man. But this side, this is the same on each side, all right? And it's the same as the big side on this one right here. All right. So I might be able to use this rock shock spring. Now the problem is it's long. It's pretty long. It's about like 10 millimeters longer, all right? That may make a difference. It may not fit in the shock, all right? The shock might be too small for it, all right? So Hayes Mega is going to try. Okay, I'm going to take the spring off, and then we'll throw this guy on there, all right? But it still doesn't change the fact that we need to get that that shock serviced anyway. So yeah. So that's a scoop, all right? All right, it's big out. We're gonna try to put this spring on, all right? And then if it doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit. We're just gonna have to buy a new spring. Well, what can I say? But I'm just surprised the rock shock spring actually fits. So I mean, we'll see if it fits. All right. I've also got another one that's even that's softer than this, but this is a 500-pound spring. This is really stiff, all right? And what we need is a really stiff spring right now. All right? So I remember I put this on the rock shock, and it was too stiff. It like didn't. It's like it was like bending bolts and stuff. Yeah, man, there was like no shock absorption going on with this bad boy. All right, but well, it may help us out this time because we need a stiffer spring. All right. Oh my God, guys, I got it to fit. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I did something really sketchy, man. I used a spring compressor, dude. All right, so I used these guys. I had these Tusk motorcycle spring compressors lying around. I've never used them before. I was like, hey, you know what? Let's go use them. And sure enough, I had to compress it quite a bit, man, to get so the spring is too long, all right? The spring was too long. So what I did was I compressed the spring, and then I compressed it enough where like you could slip the bottom perch on, all right? So then I slipped it on, and then I let it go, and boom, there it is. It ain't coming off. All right, it's at pretty much at the max No, it's at the lowest adjustment right now, and it's like it's the full thing. So okay, so I guess we can try it out, sure. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna call it a night, but I'm gonna tighten this up as much as I can by hand, and then we'll go throw it. I'll throw it back on the bike, and then I'll check it again tomorrow. All right. So, but the problem is, it doesn't. The inner diameter of the spring, it doesn't fit the perch very well. Okay, so it's kind of floating around in there a little bit. So that may not be good. All right, it's going to be put under a lot of pressure though, so I think it'll be okay. Yeah, it's worth a shot. That's what I want to say. But yeah, we could damage the shock. Ideally, the best thing to do would be to get the proper spring. All right, so that's probably what we're gonna do. But we'll try this out. All right, I had it lying around. Might as well give it a shot. And then, so if I do want to take the spring apart again, I have to compress this spring again. All right, so, and that was kind of sketchy. All right. All right, guys, I've done it. All right, I've done it. I'll just sit on the bike, and then you guys can see what the numbers are. All right. But I've gotten it to about 50 millimeters when I'm not wearing my gear on, all right? So now, and that's like that's between 20 and 20 and 25%, all right? So between 20 and 25. So I think it's okay, I want to say. But anyway, so I'm sitting on the bike now, and I'm gonna bounce up and down on it a couple times, all right? All right. And then so we've got 54. All right, that's a. All right, so we've got 54. That's pretty good. That's like more. Remember, we were at like 70 last time, right? Yeah, I think the closest we could get was 70, and that's with me without my gear on. All right. So if I put my gear on, we'll probably be a little closer to 30%. All right, so which is fine. All right. Maybe that should be the goal to be at. No, I think the goal should be. We should be at like 25%, somewhere around 25% is what I want with my gear on. All right, so okay, I'm kind of at that point where we're gonna go ahead and put the gear on her and test it. So, and then we'll see where we are at. We want to be. I want to be at 25%, guys. So 25% was like 62 or something, somewhere around there. So. And we can do it with this spring. All right. All right. So I'm gonna put my gear on now, and then we'll try to get it to that 25%. Okay, I got my gear back on. I'm gonna hop back on the bike. All right, so you guys can see what's going on. We're gonna bounce up and down on the bike a bunch of times. Okay. Let's stabilize. We're at 58 with my gear on. Okay. Yep. Alright, 58. Take a screenshot. Amazed at how I can do that without falling over. So 58. We want 56. So we're about 25. I think we're fine. I think we're fine. I can turn it a little bit. 58, we're shooting for what? 50, 56? Okay. Yeah, we probably want to adjust it a little more. 58. Okay. So I want to adjust it a little bit more. We want to get it to about 52 or 50, okay? And then we'll be good. So I'm going to increase the preload just a little bit more, and then we'll got it, okay? Got it, guys? Alright, so we're around like 58. Alright, 58. We'll just give it a couple more turns, and I think we'll be good. Alright. Okay, I gave it a couple more turns. I'll hop back on the bike. Probably make sure it was 0, but... Alright, bounce up and down. Weight in the center. Alright, we're at 56. Can't move at all. And 57. 57, 56. Well, I only turned it a couple. Okay, we're at 56, or 58. Again, what the hell? 56, yeah. I want to turn it a couple more turns, and I think we'll be good. Okay, so yeah, I think that's good. Alright, we're pretty close. I'm gonna call that it. Alright. I'll give it a couple more turns and I'll check it again. Alright, but yeah, you can see we're at still 58 or something. 56 says. Okay. So we're pretty close. 52 is what we want. So I'm gonna go give it a couple more turns and then I'm gonna call that good. Alright. Alright, here's Mega here. So I've got it to about 50, 52, 54. I've got 54 right now. It keeps on changing, man. So where it's mounted is not very accurate, is what I'll say, but I got it to about 53, 55 millimeters. That gives us about 25% sag, okay? So that's perfect. That's what I want, all right? Well, when I'm wearing lighter gear, I'll probably be close to 20, all right? Yeah, we'll be closer to 20 is what I'm gonna say. So I feel it's usually better to shoot for a lower sag number just in case you wind up wearing more gear, okay? But this is pretty much the heaviest, you know, unless I'm wearing like a backpack or something with water in it, then yeah, so. But yeah, okay, so I'm gonna call that it. I have a picture of the, you know, the last screenshot that I did, and you guys can see the number. If you guys are wondering, but yeah, that's what I got, around 53, 55 millimeters, all right, and that puts us at 25%, and I think we're good to go. I still would like to get this shock rebuilt though, so that might be something we'll look into. So I want to say I'd like to get it done before the racing season starts, okay? But yeah, so with the RockShox shock, I was actually able to do it. Let me see. Let's go take a look at how many threads I got left on it. I got plenty of adjustment, guys. Plenty of adjustment, guys. Plenty. Look at how much we adjusted it. Hardly any. We're about, maybe we got about 25% on those threads, all right? And all I have to do is lock the top collar in, okay? But we'll see. I'll test this spring out. This is not the proper spring for this, guys, so that's one thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about it like moving around and hitting stuff, like some of the suspension linkages and stuff, but I think it'll be okay. All right, thanks for watching. Hey, it's Big Al. We did it. We set the sag, all right, but we had to use the RockShox spring to do it, all right? It just so happens that the RockShox spring fits over the Vonkat shock, but it's a little bit too big for it, is what I want to say. The coils are really big on it too, because it's a heavier spring, okay? So Hayes Mag is going to go take it for a ride real quick, and then, yeah, we'll see. Alright, so I just took the bike around for a zip around the neighborhood. It's late at night, and there's like not much people out there, and yeah, I took a little rip around the neighborhood, and it's odd, man. It's just, it feels very stable. Like I can get on the throttle, but like it doesn't have a willingness to turn that it had before with the stock swing arm length, okay? But it seems fine. The dampening seems okay. We might have to mess around with it. We're probably gonna have to adjust the preload on the front fork now. There's probably more weight on the front now because the bike is like higher now, the back of the bike. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. And then yeah, it just it turns in slower. It definitely turns in slower, but it's more stable. Like where I felt like, you know, the back like would be, you know, skipping around and like it would feel unstable. This doesn't feel that. It feels planted. All right, it feels real good. Okay, so yeah, I had my gear on, so I said, hey, why not? Let's go for a rip around the neighborhood. Okay. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Check out. But I think this will work. We'll give it a whirl, you know, but I still want to get the shock rebuilt. All right, here's me out.